Good evening, guys. How are y'all doing? I'm gonna introduce myself. I go by the name of Oluwafemi, last name Adeyemi. And if you want to know what the name means, it says God loves me and the crown befits me. That's what the name means. In this story, guys, I'm going to dive deep into a spiritual awakening as well as a journey that was, I guess you could say, profoundly ordained to start, but it came at a cost. And I was always told as a kid, the race is not given to the swift, but those who endure to the end. So we're going to talk about this story. It's a little tough, but this is just the first episode on Soulful Awakening. What's going on, family? How are y'all doing this evening? So, I'm gonna start off with this story. Alright, so a lot of people in this specific time frame are going through a lot of spiritual changes, a lot of things that they cannot understand. And on your journey that you are seemingly wading through the weeds, or the high straw, as you should say, you're going to come upon things that don't necessarily make sense, but it feels weird, it feels out of place. So this is going to be episode 1. I'm going to tell you the story of how my spiritual awakening was, I guess you could say, aggressively started. I was already on it, but it was thrust into high gear because I was under spiritual attack, aka witchcraft. Now, for those who are new to the channel, spiritual awakenings, we dive deep into our spiritualness on the inside of us, followed by the biblical word, the Bible, as well as the spiritual wisdom of Ifa. Now, when you combine both of them together, as you dive deeply, you understand that I'm spiritual and I'm a Christian, but I'm more spiritual because I believe in the teachings and the wisdom of God, Oluwafemi Adeyemi, i.e. would be in the Christian form, Jesus, God, all of those things. They're all combined in one. They all lead to the main source, which would be He, whatever you want to call it. So I will start off my story like this, guys. So you go back, I won't go back too far. I will start in Charleston, South Carolina. Okay. So in Charleston, South Carolina, I'm married, kids, family. And for myself, I've always been this person that just sees things before they happen. And when you see things before they happen, you don't quite understand, but you are preemptively planning for things because you foresee them happening. It's, in present terms, they would call it a seer. So I would plan things ahead of time. In normal life, you'd rather be prepared, not surprised, right? But in this instance, I'm always planning ahead. I said to my wife years ago, I have to be in a specific situation to be able to look after my mother. Same with my father, so i.e. I became a truck driver because in my mind, I felt like you have to get a skill to be able to do what you need to do to support your family, and so on and so forth. So in Charleston, South Carolina, we lived in a house. Now, a man leads from the front. He doesn't lead from behind. He leads from the front. And in every situation, I'm always finding myself leading, but people are upset with me for me doing things that Most High tells me to do. You're going to be told that you're crazy. You're going to be told that you don't know what you're doing. You're stupid. I wouldn't do that. Things of that nature, right? So you have to then just go with the flow, because if you are disobedient, your consequences are worse. And some people will say, oh, that's just, da 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 da. No, it's real. For people like me and other people out here in the world, if they're disobedient, their consequences are worse. And I'm not playing. This is a true story. So at this point in time, I have a family member. She's married and she has a husband, and this is the defining moment, and I'll let you guys decide what you think I should have done. You guys can put that in the comments if you decide to or choose to. So there was a specific situation. We worked at Walmart, and me and her husband worked together at Walmart, and I saw a specific act or a specific thing that was going on, and I did not say anything. Now, some people will say I would have said something. Well, this is all part of my story. I chose not to say anything. Now, why, you might ask? Because you go inside and you ask the Most High, and you sit down and you get quiet, and you say, God, should I tell them or should I not tell them? And at this specific point, you decide that you're not going to tell them, because you know that in your relationships that you've had with them, because remind you, they're family, you know how they're going to react. So would you rather them be mad at you or be mad at the person? And in wisdom, his wisdom surpasses all understanding. So when you're really trying to get an understanding of who the Most High is, does he want anybody to hurt? Or would he want you to pass over the hurt so that they don't get hurt? Because you know the damage and the hurt that it's going to cause that individual. So obviously, I decided not to say anything. And that was preemptively what got that person to be upset with me. So I'll tell the truth here. I saw that person, her husband, having what I would call inappropriate conversation, communication with another female. Now, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything because it was out for her own well-being, and that would be uncle's love for his niece, right? That's what that was. Now, do I regret it? No, I would do it again, because I wouldn't want nobody to get hurt like that. And I sure as heck don't feel like it was my place to say anything, because I'm not trying to destroy a home, a happy home. It's just not my place. So I left it up to, the consequences of your actions. So eventually he did get caught, and it was a whole big spiel, but I eventually said, yeah, I knew, but it wasn't my place to say. And I struggled with it a little bit, but at the end of the day, Most High told me to not say anything. Do I have to live with the consequences of that? Yes, but I did not want her to hurt, right? Because she was my niece. So going forward, we're now in Atlanta, and this is where it gets tricky. Now we're at 7 minutes or 54 seconds. It's kind of going fast. So I'll get to 10 minutes and I'll come back for episode 2, maybe tomorrow. So we get to Atlanta, and everybody has this thing that they think that I'm upset about people having kids or anything. So they have the first kid, they have some complications with the first child. They have a second child. So, the first child, my immediate knee-jerk reaction was to, my wife is dealing with her niece. My first knee-jerk reaction is to deal with the man because he just lost a child. Somehow, some way, they thought that I was upset about them, no, I'm not upset. They thought that I was happy about them losing their child. I don't know where that came from, but why would I be happy about that? I love kids. You'll see later on down the road in this series that I like kids. And I don't have a problem with kids. So my first knee-jerk reaction was to rush to the husband's side because I understood his pain. But it was turned into that I was happy for them losing their child. I don't know where that came from. So then they ended up going to their own place. And then they got to their own place, and there was challenges, and me and my family were going about our lives and things of that nature. I've always been a go-getter. I've always been somebody that wants to do better so he can do things for others, because I've just been that way. That's just the way I am. Anybody that knows me, that's around me, knows that I always look out for the people around me, because if I win, you win. So they didn't move back in with us at our new house in Atlanta. Because, you know, I was like, okay, in my mind, and this is my mind, is if you have a big family and you're all pitching in, it makes everybody's life easier. The bills are paid, everybody's got money, but nobody thinks like that. Everybody is selfish. The selfishness is just everywhere, right? So we get to the point where they have their second child, and there was complications. After the complications, they have the child, but my niece, she started having heart issues. And the doctor said that she probably wouldn't be able to have any more kids because it was too hard on her heart, as well as the process of her heart healing was going to be challenging. So this video is getting long. What I'm going to do is, if you guys want to see chapter 2 or episode 2, hit like, subscribe, and share, and hit the bell below so you know when I come out with new videos on my spiritual journey.